Hey y'all, I'm back with my May and June 2022 reading wrap-ups. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Books with Kimberly. Don't forget to like, comment, share my channel, and subscribe. I am back, y'all, and today I am talking about the books that I read in the month of May and the month of June. So let's get right into it. In the month of May, I read 4 books, which were actually audiobooks. So again, thank God for audiobooks. They are what is helping me get closer to my reading goal of 50 books this year. The first audiobook was How to Catch a Queen by Alyssa Cole. This is a part of the Runaway Royal series. I did a standalone review for this book, so y'all go check out that review to get all the details on how much I love this book. I gave it 5 stars, and just a little what this book is about. We meet Chencia, who her dreams are to become a queen. She gets this opportunity when she is married to Prince Sandy, who becomes the king of Injaza. She is disappointed when she finds out she's only queen in title and she's not able to do a lot of the changes that she wants to make as queen. In Injaza, queens don't have any power. They're basically just like a little trinket. They sit there, they don't say anything, and after 4 months, they're usually replaced with another queen. But luckily for her, she starts to charm her way into Sanyu's heart, and she starts to really affect the way that he runs the kingdom of Injaza. I'm definitely here for this book, and I definitely want to read more books from Alyssa Cole's Royal series. So speaking of second chances, I was not the biggest Alyssa Cole fan. I gave her about 3 chances, and I was like, these books are like 3 to 3.5 stars. And then, of course, I read How to Catch a Queen, and that was a 5-star book. So I decided to give Alexandria House another try as well. Her first book, which was Let Me Love You. Shout out to Mario, who won the verses. Her first book, that was Let Me Love You, I did not like it at all. That was like the first romance book I've ever read where I did not want the couple to be together. I just felt like this is messy. This is too much drama. I don't care how cute she is. Leave her. So I don't know what made me want to give these books another try. Probably because people talk about Alexandria House so much. I am so glad that I decided to read book 2 in the McLean Brothers series, because the second book, Let Me Hold You, y'all, it was such a good read. I'ma just fast forward. This is another book that I give 5 stars, and it's crazy to go from not liking the first book of the series and thinking like, you know what, I don't think she's an author for me, to reading the second book and being like, oh yeah, I love this and I want to finish the series. I'm giving it 5 stars. So in this book, we get the brother Leland McLean. He plays basketball. He is volunteering at this youth center, teaching young kids how to play basketball. He has a strong attraction to Kimberly. I love her name. Kimberly, who is a social worker, and she's the director of this youth program. Now, the problem with these two being together is her son is a famous NBA player who used to actually play on the same team as Leland. Leland left that team. He's rumored to have left the team because of this beef that he had going on with Kimberly's son. But come to find out, he left because he wants a ring. But anyway, this son still does end up being a problem in their relationship. He doesn't like Leland because he caught Leland looking at his mother in a way that he was not fond of while they were teammates. And so I just thought this was a really good read. They were sneaking around, but the two of them were really having this fun, youthful relationship. And let me tell you something about Alexandria House, honey. She doesn't do steamy, which y'all know I love my steamy books. She don't do steamy, honey. She does raunchy, and I was here for it. Leland and Kim was cutting up in this book. This was a really good book and definitely made me want to read the following books in the series. The last two books that I read are by Chencia Higgins. I had never heard of this author until, shout out to Zatavia, who recommended that I read one of her books. And while I was looking for that one, I saw these two audiobooks on Scribd and decided, let me give her a listen. And these two books are Benefriends and Beyond Benefriends. I thought this two-part series was really, really cute. It is about a group of like 6 friends. 4 of them are single. 1 is married, and I think the other one was in a relationship as well. In both of these books, they go over how 2 of these friends in a group start dating each other. And not really dating. Things kind of start off as a friends with benefits situation. Get it? Benefriends. But they start to really develop feelings. So Benefriends was Shad and Aisha. The 2 of them were friends. They were kicking it. They went to an event together and they decided to, hey, let's just be friends with benefits. The second book, 2 other friends were like, hey, well, if it worked out for those 2, why don't I reveal that I'm actually liking another one of the friends in the group? And these friends were Vic and Moni. Vic had been crushing on Moni for years, and so the 2 of them started a little relationship in this book. I thought the books are really, really cute because it really went into the complexities of, this is my best friend, this is my homegirl, this could affect our friend group, this could affect our friendship. This could really rock the boat, and seeing where that goes. One thing I really enjoyed about these books is these books focus on the male perspective. You don't get the woman's perspective of like how they feel about the friends with benefits situation, which I thought was really dope. The only thing about that, like for the first book with Shad and Aisha, Shad decides like, look, I'm the only person initiating these situations that we find ourselves in. Let me pull back. And when he pulled back, it caused a rift in the friend group because Aisha told the other ladies in the group, like, Shad played me. It would have been nice to get Aisha's perspective of like how she felt about that abandonment and why, you know, what was she thinking their friends with benefit situation was. Even though it was interesting getting that male's perspective and having their bromances, and, you know, it was kind of a nice break from I'm always reading woman-led books. I still think it was missing that woman's touch. I really enjoyed these books and I give them both 4 stars, and I definitely want to read more from Chencia. I'm really giving it 4 stars because I just wanted more. Because it's a short story, it leaves you just wanting more, which is actually a good thing. Now on to the books that I read in the month of June. So in the month of June, I also read 4 books. One of them was an ebook and the other 3 were audiobooks. So let's get right into it. So the first audiobook that I finished in the month of June was Let Me Show You by Alexandria House. This is the 3rd book in the McClain Brothers series. This book is about Nolan McClain and Bridget. Bridget is the friend of one of the other women in the previous 2 books. I really liked their relationship. Bridget was an actress and Nolan was the director of a movie that they were filming, and the 2 of them started dating. I thought this book was really good. I gave it 4 stars. One of the main reasons I gave it 4 stars, y'all, it's going to be a weird reason, but just stay with me. There was this part in the book where Nolan usually dates Russian women. And so I was like, okay, but they kept bringing it up. Nolan is a twin. He has a twin brother named Neil. And he was sitting next to Bridget and they came up like, hey Neil, when'd you start dressing different and change your hair? The fact that he was with a black woman, they just was like, oh no, this cannot be Nolan. Nolan does not date black women. And so I just felt like because the author put such emphasis on the fact that Nolan doesn't really date black women often, I was expecting like a really good explanation or something that made me understand this more. there was an explanation given, and I mean, spoiler alert, it has something to do about he was a member of this club that would hook him up with women, and he says they weren't escorts, but it sounded very escort-like. And so apparently he couldn't afford the black women, because in this club, black women are top tier and they're very expensive and out of his price range. Okay, sir. At first I was like, I do not like that explanation, but when I thought about it, would I rather that versus like this sad story about how a black woman broke his heart in college and he swore to never date black women again? So I'm like, I see what you did there, Alexandria, because, you know, this explanation puts black women on like the top tier that we belong on, instead of like some sad story about how a black woman broke his heart in high school or something. So I see what she was doing there, but it was still kind of awkward for me. That's why I gave this book 4 stars out of 5. We want to praise black love and show the beauty of black love. But I love the friendships in this book. Like, each woman, especially listening to the audiobook, they have these friendships where they just be like, girl, B-word. It's not like 2 stuck-up women who are having coffee. It's like just having a real good tea-spilling conversations, and every time there's a scene with 2 friends, I am cracking up. So the second audiobook was Let Me Free You, which is the 4th book in the McLean series, and it is the twin brother Neil, who I mentioned in the other book, and Sage, who is a friend of both Bridget and Joe in the previous book. Sage, who is a curvy woman, and she's also a makeup artist. Sage is from Liberia. She does not have a green card, and so she is about to be deported, but her friends step in and they get their husbands, who are the McLean brothers, to convince Neil to marry Sage so that she can, you know, go through the process of becoming a citizen. And of course, he does think Sage is beautiful. Neil himself is a recovering alcoholic. I think he had just some troubled times and he's kind of been having it rough, but he recently in the last book went to rehab, and he went to this facility where he got the therapy he needed to move on in his life. So in this book, he is a lot better. He's not like the screw up brother of the group. He's getting his life together, running his business, doing music with his brother Big South. I thought this one was really good. I love that, of course, she's a curvy woman and he's attracted to her, and he lets it be known, like, I'm not just attracted to you because you're my wife, like, this feels right. There was this beautiful need that the two of them had for each other. There was this love and desire that was easy. It wasn't like something that they had to force, it just came natural. So it gave you this vibe of like the two of them were really meant to be. I'm giving this book 4 stars. One of the reasons I'm giving it 4 stars is because the ex that really broke Neil's heart and had him kind of spiral into, you know, just wasting away his life and talents, she pops back up and she claims that she has a child for him. And I felt like this storyline wasn't really developed. He shook her off 3 times and he never brought it up to Sage. We didn't see him doing research, but at the end of the book, this storyline was wrapped up. And I just did not like that because I felt like by him not mentioning it, it was making me mad at him. So it felt very deceptive to me. And put that on top of, y'all, Neil is like Hotep, which I'll admit I haven't done a lot of research into like what are Hotep men, but I've never heard like the best of characteristics of them. And Alexandria House did put in there like Neil isn't the typical like do as I say woman, but he was very much like it's all about black love and having my black queen, and he did come off a little bit controlling to me. So as much as I was rooting for Neil because I love an underdog and I was rooting for my plus size girl Sage, he just felt a little too controlling. I just felt like his character could have been refined a little bit more. I love that Alexandria house kind of gives you that urban feel where her characters don't feel so like, I'm the CEO, I'm an alpha male, I'm perfect, I'm college educated. Like, her characters aren't as stiff as some of the other romance books I'm used to reading. And so I do love that her characters have fun, you know, they're raunchy, they talk smack, they be cussing, you know, it gives you a little bit of that urban vibe to it. But just him being a little controlling and the whole hotep characteristics, it was hard for me to really vibe with Neil as much as I wanted to, because I thought he would be my favorite brother because I love a comeback story. But it still was a good book, and I give it 4 stars. Next book, I'm not even gonna get into too many details because I want to come back with a standalone review for this book, and that is Miss Wiggins by Mary Monroe. This book is set in the 1930s in Alabama. So the main character of the book is Maggie, and when Maggie is 17, 18 years old, her and her best friend Hubert decide to get married and decide that they want to have a child immediately. Now, the backstory on these two is that Hubert is actually gay, and so Hubert does not want to do the act to conceive a child with Maggie. So they come up with a plan that Hubert can live his life going out with his boyfriends in secret, and they have this relationship that is a ruse to protect the two of them. But Maggie has to go out and find a partner to conceive a child with. Eventually, they do have this child. That child comes into this world, and this book just took you on a wild ride. So it was just very interesting being in the mind of Miss Wiggins. I enjoyed this book. I see it has mixed reviews, but I give it 5 stars. It gave me a lot of anxiety because I was like, Maggie, are you going to do what I think you trying to do, what you want to do? And seeing if she was going to do it or how she was going to get herself out of these situations, it was a lot. But it was also very enjoyable. And at the end of it, I appreciate the genius of Mary Monroe and how she does not stay boxed in. She dances on the morale of her characters. The last book that I read in the month of June was Restored by Christina C. Jones. This is the 3rd book of her paranormal romance series that I read. The first 2 were Haunted and Coveted, and so this one has the same format about Zaire and Aaron. They are a couple, but Aaron forgets who her husband is, and so Zaire is using his seductive ways to seduce his wife into remembering who he is. I thought this book was interesting, but it being paranormal romance, I really wanted it to dig deeper into that magic. It didn't explain the paranormal parts of it. I know that Erin is a healer and she's also immortal. So how did they become immortal? I like the premise. I like where it was going, but they were short stories. So again, short stories to me, they seem like they lack a lot. And I just feel like I didn't get a good enough grasp of it. Like, I kind of get it, but it's not a world that I want to be a part of because I barely know what it is. So those are the books that I read in the month of May and June. Thank you guys for tuning in to another Books with Kimberly video. Get down in those comments and let me know what are your thoughts on some of the books I've read. What are some books that you are reading? Get down in those comments and let me know. Bye.